PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. We're the podcast that covers everything pop culture and beyond the multiverse. Are you ready to get your geek on? Crank up the DeLorean, warm up the proton packs, toss a coin to your Witcher, and deep dive into your favorite plate of chimichangas. This is PopXcast.
You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture.
Here we go!
PopXcast. I was born in it, molded by it. PopXcast. No strings on me. Autobots, transform. I'm Batman. By the power of Grayskull. PopXcast. We're doomed.
Goal here at Tyrell. More human than human is our motto.
Here's Johnny.
Never had a pet pony.
Hasta la vista, baby. PopXcast.
Captain's log supplemental.
Negasonic Teenage. What the
I am the one who knocks.
Excelsior!
8/8/21, episode 128. But what would have happened if this was the year 2028 and it would have been 8/8/28/128?
I feel like it could have broken
did-
timelines.
Did I
and
just
variants.
did I go into the multiverse just then? 8/8/128 on 28?
I think we dipped a toe at least.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe Barry Allen can figure that out. I have no idea. I don't know. But anyway, I digress.
Yes, everyone check your mute buttons. I'm going to put that out there as a PSA.
Check your mute buttons. Everything's
If
good.
you can't hear us, it's because your mute button's on.
It's all good. Welcome to PopXcast, you guys. This has been, man, what a great show we have lined up for you tonight, as we're just going to be focusing on two main subjects this weekend. And we're not going to be doing any kind of other side tangents or shows yet because What If hasn't started yet.
Not just yet.
Hey, the Suicide Squad just dropped in theaters on Friday. 25
Glorious
million
moments.
at the box office already.
Let's
That's
go.
before the digital streaming services have been kind of acclimated into that account, but it's doing pretty good. I think some of the studio reps were wanting it to do a little bit better, but given the fact it's on so many streaming platforms, I think on HBO Max as well, and you can buy it outright, buy the film in certain areas as well. That's kind of hurting the sales a little bit on that one. But I am trying to break the space-time continuum there, John Poffenbarger. I am. And if you're looking down here in the window and you don't see Mr. Austin Burke, don't freak out. He's on. I know, right? It's like.
Did you hide him, Joe?
No, I didn't hide him. All right, he's in the closet, locked up and chained up, but that's for another day. But he's in Destin, Florida with his family on vacation, but do not fret. He actually had some time this afternoon to sit down and record his own PopX review of the Suicide Squad. And this is something totally different from his channel, just for PopXcast. So you guys are going to see that here later in the show when we go and talk about the Suicide Squad. So yes, Austin Burke exclusive content coming up here on PopX. And that's awesome. Safe travels back, cuz we love you. Proud of you, man. 95K on there. My gosh.
Yeah.
It's so
Enjoy the rest of your vacation.
I know. Lindsay Badger, are you ready to kick this thing off?
Let's go.
Alrighty. Hey guys, this is Joseph Burke Arts, Central Florida's seasoned comic book nerd and retro enthusiast. And we'd like to welcome everyone joining us live in the PopX.live chat room. Come hang with us and join the conversation at PopX.com. Now, if this is your first time tuning into PopX, for the first 10 or 15 minutes or so, we kind of run down the headlines since the last show to kind of get you caught up on some of the geek news that's going on in pop culture. And then we deep dive into all the nostalgic goodness on the Retro Rewind. This week we have Legend from 1985, Ridley Scott. Can't wait to talk about this one. And then at the halfway point, we'll be talking about the main show topic, the Suicide Squad.
Wow.
Yeah, do you like that?
That's
I rehearsed that all weekend.
Did you?
I
Did you
sure
practice it in
did.
the mirror?
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Do you want me to talk about the multiverse?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
If you guys want, you can join us, myself, Joe, and a whole bunch of other creatives, hang out on weekly streams over on the Creative Multiverse on haps.tv. It's an art community where creatives come together worldwide and are streaming all of our amazing art and creations and content and whatnot. And it's 100% free to join and sign up if you guys want to join us over there. You can catch our after show tonight is going to be on that channel, the Creative Multiverse channel, which is actually Joseph Burke Arts' channel on Haps TV. Immediately following this live broadcast right now. The link is going to be in the chat. It's actually pinned at the top of the chat on YouTube.
Yep.
Joe's on top of things tonight,
Look at you
guys. Make sure when we sign off tonight, click on that link and join us over there. And we'll be on there for a while, so it'll be a good time. All right.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Also, if you missed last week's episode of, last episode. It wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2
I'll
weeks
get
ago.
it straight.
We're on a
at some
bi-weekly
point.
basis here. I just haven't
Yes, we're on a
updated it.
bi-weekly.
I haven't updated the nomenclature.
I love it.
I always
so
wanted to
much.
say that word nomenclature.
I love it so much. I want it to be every week, but I know that would just be
John
that's
Poffenbacher,
silly.
would you update my nomenclature? Please. Thank you.
Well, last episode 127, we did talk about the Masters of the Universe Revelation series that was on Netflix, and we did the retro rewind of the Labyrinth. That was a fun show. It was a long show, but it was a great one. You guys need to make sure to go back over to our official website at popxcast.com for that replay and all of the other replays of our great past shows from the PopX Collective archive. It's a good time. There's also on the YouTube channel too, if you just, while you're here, want to stroll through that later. If you like what you're seeing here tonight, click that like button, thumbs up. You hear everybody talk about that cool thumbs up button. Slam on that for us over there. If you like what we're putting out and you want to see more of it, slam on that subscribe button. That's good. If you hit the bell, make sure it's ringing. You'll know whenever we
we'll be coming out slinging.
Slinging the bell, man.
When you hear it come ringing, it's going ding-a-linging.
When the bell starts a ring-a-ling-a-ding, you know that we're going to go live soon. So make sure you also, if you do the podcast format of this show, go over, give us a 5-star rating and review. That would also be greatly appreciated. Boy,
I really
we're
enjoyed
just
our
all
little,
over the place
I don't
tonight,
know.
aren't we?
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving
It's
it.
great.
This is better than a Happy Meal.
It's so fun.
great.
Gosh, it's more exciting than the toy. No way. Oh,
Anyway, move.
get out of here with that. Get out of here with that.
Oh man! So, well, Lindsay Badger, thank you for catching us up on all the formalities
welcome.
of the creative multiverse and stuff. Yes, I did pin the link into the Haps. We will be live there just about 30 minutes after tonight's show. So, if you want to come and hang out with us and meet Team PopX, I know that myself and Lindsay will be there.
We're really nice and we don't bite.
And you can actually
Aw.
come up on cam and ask us questions and do a Q&A and, just talk to us a little bit. We would love that. That's the whole reason why we're doing the after show type thing.
Guess what? Secret
Yes.
surprise. A
What's
lot of
this?
the times Joe and I do art while we hang
Live
out.
art.
So you can watch us draw
It's
while
true.
we talk about nerdy geeky
And as a
things.
matter of fact, I'll be drawing tonight the August. We're doing the August art
we
challenge
started a new
for
challenge
August.
this month.
Yes, and so I'll be drawing night 7 and night 8 tonight. So come hang out with us and join the conversation.
I might be working on an eagle, perhaps.
an eagle.
never know.
That's great. Are you ready for some news?
Let's do it. Throw down.
Alrighty.
Let's go.
So, all right, guys, don't go anywhere. Set your TV sets accordingly. PopX News is coming your way right now.
Extra, read all about it. This is PopX News, coming to you live right here on PopXcast.com.
All right. Now, we've heard time and time again that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is likely Gunn's last film in the franchise. Now, with the filmmaker on press tour for the Suicide Squad, a Guardians question was bound to come up at one point or another while he's on a DC Warner Brothers tour. You know you're going to get some Marvel dropped in there. The filmmaker doubled down on his prior Volume 3 comments. Not only that, but Gunn also suggested it's likely that Dave Bautista's last project with the Disney-owned franchise. Now, the last Marvel project, who knows? But I see it as my last Guardians movie, end quote. Now, Gunn told the Entertainment Channel, I'm a guy who never says never because I've never seen too many people say never and be pulled back into the fray. So I wouldn't say that, but I see it as being the last Guardians movie, end quote, from James Gunn. And that's when the director brought up Bautista, adding, I know Dave sees it as being the last Guardians movie, and Dave and I are pretty much attached to the hip on those projects. So I don't see me going on and doing any more after that, end quote. So it sounds like to me we may be having possibly a finality of Drax's character in the MCU. It has already been leaked. I was going to
say there was already rumors that we were going to lose at least one or a few of the Guardians crew, and we kind of assumed that it was going to be his character as one of the choices.
Some of the characters, some of the actresses rather, have already read the script, and they said it's one of the most heaviest emotional scripts that they've read. And
so
they were actually crying at the table read for Guardian 3. And so having said that, and hearing this about Dave Bautista, you can kind of start to piece of it's the third film, it's the finality of this franchise. They're moving into MCU Phase 4. It makes sense. It really does.
You don't want to be a Fast and Furious.
And
series.
I'm not going to lie to you. Bautista is not getting any younger. The physicality.
Watch out for his health. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the physicality of his health in his 50s now, as he was a wrestler on WWE back in the day. That's where he got his start, obviously. But, the past 10, 15 years, he's been doing cinema. But it's really interesting to see that, and really interesting to hear Gunn talk about that. And you never know, though. This might not be the final project of James Gunn in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just Guardians, I believe. So this is his totality summary of everything that he's done. So
I hope we see more. He's super talented.
Me too. What you got for us there, Mike? Where's Mike at?
I am right here. I have
Mike.
Things news.
He lives.
Stranger Things 4 teaser trailer is finally here as Netflix gave fans what they've been asking for all year. The new clip says that things are going to get weird in 2022 as the Hawkins crew visits the Upside Down. As with previous couple of seasons, everyone is looking just a bit older than before. So many things were left unresolved at the end of the third season, so it'll be fun for fans to finally get answers they've been waiting for. Hopper is presumably still out there somewhere, and there will have to be a rescue mission to uncover what kind of strange things happening are lurking out in Russia or whatever dangerous realm all these monsters are being controlled from.
Yeah, and you look at the picture there. This is they released a new teaser this past week, right, Mike? I believe it was kind of had some new stuff in it. But if you look at Millie Bobby Brown there, it's definitely an older Stranger Things crew. It looks like the tribe is definitely, obviously, gotten older with age.
I'm telling you guys, Hopper's going to turn into the Red Guardian. It's going to happen.
Now, Mike, have you heard anything in your neck of the woods on reshoots or anything going on fun? I know you're only like 10 minutes from where everything's being filmed anyway, but...
Yeah, there's no reshoots. I know down here where they filmed downtown Hawkins, that's kind of been put back to normal.
Okay.
There was some activity there about a month ago where they just had cameras and screens and, dark curtains blocking a lot of buildings. So I know there was stuff going on, but I just happened to pass that neck of the woods about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And all the signs are pretty much taken down. There's like no sign of anybody that they were even filming there.
They probably wrapped completely in Jackson by now. Yeah. They wrapped. It was really cool being able to see the Hawkins Elementary School now repainted as Hawkins High School. That was nice. So thanks for driving us over there to check that out while we were there on set.
Yep.
But awesome. Well, I'm excited to see what happens with the Upside Down and how this new involvement of our Stranger Things crew is just going to be. It's mind blowing where it's going to go from here. But it's going to be 80s retro nostalgic goodness.
I always is hungry for more from this franchise, and I hope that they still lay on all of the 80s retro goodness like we always look forward to.
It needs to be thick. Like peanut
Please
butter. Yeah.
slather it on. Let it be
Please.
dripping off the sides.
All right, Badge, what you got
All
up
right,
for us?
guys, let's talk about a little bit of PlayStation. PlayStation 5's system software beta program has rolled out for its first update for participants in the US, Canada, Japan, the UK, Germany, France, and it looks like it's going to be a beefy glimpse at what all players can expect to eventually have make its way to the normal system software updates for the popular console. Included in the new beta update are a number of improvements like M.2 SSD support, 3D audio support for built-in TV speakers, various personalization options, a trophy tracker, and the ability to quickly differentiate between PS4 and PS5 versions of your video games. While all of the aforementioned additions are notable, it is likely that the M.2 SSD support that will be the most exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to expand the storage of the PlayStation 5 in a truly supported way was missing at the time of launch. And while a previous full-on system software update improved things by adding the ability to store a PS5 video games on a USB storage device, adding more internal storage will improve things as far more as it can be launched for both PS5 and PS4 video games from where it has right now. The USB extended storage can only store PS5 video games and not launch them.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, that has been a struggle in our household as well. It's a little bit of frustration taking on the games, taking off the games, blah, blah, blah. So this is nice.
It is definitely a little bit of a crutch on my end, too. I'm only allowed to store, because I play Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and I play Call of Duty Warzone, which the two are kind of married together in the infrastructure of how the game works. I'm only allowed to actually install one additional game on top of that.
Yes, we did say personalization was also on the list.
Oh, yeah, personalization for sure. They're going to make it more like a social network platform is what it's going to be. So it's going to be the PS
So I
network.
believe the systems are still very hard to come by.
I believe the systems are still hard to come by. I do believe that, though, the Twitter account is PS5 Restock. If you're on Twitter after the show, definitely go and search that. There's an account on there that somehow pulls the algorithm from, I don't know how they do this.
I don't know, but it works.
It works because Lindsay was able to get one for her husband. And she got the notification over in the hours of the morning and within 5 minutes was able to log on and secure her husband a system. So PS5 Restock on Twitter, if you follow that account and make sure that you set up notifications for when they post, because usually when they post, you got about a 10-minute window to get a PS5. So there's a pro tip from PopX. Is follow that account when they post on which it's Walmart, Target, Best Buy, GameStop, all these places. When they restock, you get notified and you have an opportunity to secure yourself a system if you want a PS5.
Diligence and patience leads the way.
A lot of patience. A lot of freaking patience. But anyway, I digress. All right. We're surrounded out here. We got Disney Plus has been on a roll in its first three shows and hopes that it can keep winning the trend going with its next project, Hawkeye, for the live action series. Now, fans have been wondering when we would get to see Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye and Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop meet, and now we finally got a release date. Hawkeye is hitting Disney Plus on Wednesday, November the 24th. Literally 6 days before my birthday. Let's go.
Pass the turkey and pass the arrows.
Pass the turkey and give me some birthday cake all at the same time. This is awesome. Fans are eager to see Steinfeld and Bishop's role and the divided into comics when getting ready for it. And there's a quote that says, "As far as the comics go, yes," Steinfeld said. Again, it's kind of like Emily and her poetry. Dickinson currently on Apple TV, having this world of endless information. I've always loved comics. I've always been a very visual person, and a large book with anything over 200 to 250 pages has always intimidated me. So comics has always been something that I've been able to be drawn to because of the visual aspect of it. So I've had much fun reading these comics and going through them and discovering the elements of Kate Bishop that are there that we're bringing to life in the show and other elements from the comics. I love the fact that the actors and actresses are deep diving into the comics.
I do too.
Before they hit the camera. That is so awesome. You got to understand these characters. You just can't do a table read and read the script and then understand the body.
They're developed over so many different
decades
episodes.
Well, decades in the comics too.
Each month comes out with a new add-on, and there's twists and turns, and sometimes their storylines get rebooted. You got to stay up on all of that stuff. So.
I agree. And I'm pretty excited for it. I know Mike, he's pretty excited about Hawkeye and all of that too, and everything that's going on. And it's pretty, it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see the 4th installment of the live action series making its way.
So we have What If coming out.
What If's coming out in just a couple of weeks. I think it's the 21st.
Okay.
I think.
So that's the next one.
I'll have to look and see right quick. I don't want to give
Hawkeye
any.
The next one. Is there one between that?
No, I don't think there's one between it. I think that's going to be it. August the 11th is going to be the first episode of What If. So literally 3 days from now. So it looks like they're going to be rolling out on the Wednesdays, Marvel Wednesdays again, following in the footsteps of Loki. They're going to be doing that. So there you go.
I like it.
Literally this week.
See the tie-in between Black Widow and the Hawkeye show, and it seems that's going to be the trend we're going to be getting when like, any kind of post-credit scenes from movies are going to tie into a show. And I like to see Florence Pugh back in there. I'm curious to see how her tie-in's going to be.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. And everything lining up. Hopefully we get some Thunderbolt teases as like everybody's been wanting. But with all of that said, I believe it's time, and we're almost at the halfway point. Are you guys ready for a little retro rewind? All right. Well, let's do it. Guys, don't go anywhere. The retro rewind is coming your way. Retro rewind. Retro rewind. Retro rewind. The retro rewind, and this week we are talking about 1985's classic fantasy gothic horror tale of princesses and underdogs and demonic powers that be. We are talking about Legend from 1985. Now, before I give my spiel, I want to pass this over to Lindsay. I'm not going to put her in the hot seat. I didn't let her know this ahead of time.
He always does that.
I know. I always do. But I'm so eager to hear your perspective, though, because I know some of these, I don't want to make Retro Rewind one of those typical parts of the show where we're only covering the greatest hits of the 80s.
Right.
I wanted to make sure that we're covering a spectrum of the hits of the 80s.
Yes.
And so there's going to be some that flops.
Different genres.
Yeah. You know, you're just kind of shaking things up a little bit. So Legend. So have you seen the movie previously?
I do not recall watching this in my childhood. I'm sure I did, but I don't have any fond emotional attachment to this movie. I don't recall it as a fond memory or anything. So I would say this was in essence a first watch for me.
Okay.
And I watched it this afternoon with my daughter, actually.
Wow.
And and it was weird.
Okay.
It was quite weird. I thought that Suicide Squad was going to be the only weird movie I watched this weekend, and I was surprised. It's kind of a theme this week. Good pairing there, Joe. It's like, well, you know how to pair your movies. That's funny. But no, the sound, obviously, there, you were telling me in pre-live there was different variations of the movie released.
Yeah.
And the one that we watched was the Tangerine Dream soundtrack version. And I loved the soundtrack. It screams 80s. It's the retro synthy sound that we always look forward to hearing. And that was a joy through the entire movie. It really definitely brought that feel. Seeing Tom Cruise as a wee babe was like
just a wee lad.
Just a wee lad. He looked like he was 15, at least.
He probably was. I mean,
he was so young.
No, I think he was 40 at the time of filming that.
No.
Never ages.
I mean, I know the man doesn't age, very quickly, but dang, no. So that was the story. There wasn't much of a storyline to it. I mean, there was like the basics, okay, unicorns are sacred. He falls in love with a princess. The princess is a mischief maker of to keep it short and
Of
sweet.
sorts, yes.
And breaks the one rule that clearly wasn't spoken until after she broke it, to not touch unicorns. And then all hell breaks loose immediately. So that was kind of interesting to watch all of that unravel and to see all of these fantasy creatures work together to kind of solve the problem and go into this hellacious layer that has this really creepy looking devil guy. What was his name again, Joe?
Darkness.
Darkness is his name. The costuming on that guy.
You know who that is? That's Tim Curry.
Fantastic. Yeah, I know. It's Tim Curry. I recognized it from the moment he spoke, even though I knew it was him.
Yeah.
That voice is like no other.
It is like no other.
It was like no other. It's a signature piece of his legend. He in himself is a legend within a legend.
True.
So I really enjoyed his performance, even though it was dark and satanic like it was supposed to be. There's notable moments of enjoyment, but the overall is like, what am I dreaming? Did I doze off in the middle of a show and have some weird trippy dream? It's really quite an interesting watch. I don't know if my daughter enjoyed it or not. She didn't really seem that engaged, except for whenever they were kissing. Because there's lots of kissing, and she's at the age where she doesn't. Is this a kissing book? It's that age.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I got you. That's cute.
Yeah, it was an okay experience. I wouldn't say it was my favorite movie. But
I got you. Mike Ippolito, what do you have to say about Legend 1985?
Well, for the time, I mean, the visuals are pretty amazing, and for Ridley Scott, I think this was one of his first major films that he's done. I mean, doing the Aliens movies and stuff like that. And I was kind of looking forward to it, knowing that he was behind the camera on this one, and especially Tangerine Dream. I've been following them. They're pure 80s. I mean, they've done all different soundtracks from some of the best TV shows in the 80s, like Street Hawk.
Yeah.
There was just, their music is just, all definitely pure 80s nostalgia.
It's iconic.
Iconic. Very much iconic, yeah. And overall, I mean, this movie, if you like a lot of snow and a lot of bubbles and a lot of glitter, I guess you would like this movie. But I mean, Tim Curry was amazing. I'm kind of on the fence Tom Cruise kind of person. I can take it or leave it, really. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see. I've never seen this movie before. It's the first time I've seen it. And during the opening, credits, when they showed it was Mia Sara, I knew I recognized the name. Then when I saw her face, I realized who she was. And that was her major role before Ferris Bueller.
It was.
But overall, I mean, it was a decent movie. It held my attention. I didn't run to the phone every few minutes or see how much time was left. It kind of held a lot of good action, like between the elves and the trolls, and very dark, very dark fantasy.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I got out of it. And it was overall, it was a decent watch.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we got a couple varying degrees of stuff there. Now Lindsay had opened it up about her when we were first talking about how there's multiple variations of this film. So to break it down for you, the original cut of this film, I believe, has Jerry Goldsmith's composition soundtrack to it, and so it's an actual orchestral soundtrack, and that was meant to be released worldwide. So at the time of releasing the film, the production studios kind of felt that the American audiences, that this might be a little bit too fantastical for them, so they recruited Tangerine Dream to come in and rescore the film using their own soundtrack, which in essence, you have literally now at this point, you have two separate films. Mind you, the one that was released in Europe is almost 2 hours. This one is at 1.5 hours exact. So you've got 30 minutes of additional footage that explains a lot more of the backstory in the Jerry Goldsmith score adaptation. Now, the third variation of this is actually a director's cut. And it doesn't use Tangerine Dream's score. It uses Jerry Goldsmith's, but it's also more of a revised cut with a different color palette. Not really subtle tones in the Goblin colors, but you could tell it was ran through a whole different spectrum of a color processing format. Now, getting back to Tangerine Dream, when I was a kid in the 80s, I remember watching this film for the first time. It was probably 1992, I believe, and it was one of those ones where it was on TV, so you had to wait for the commercials to see what's going to happen next. It was a freaking nightmare. But one of the things that really compelled me about this, obviously, was darkness, the big bad at the end of it. I couldn't believe how they pulled this effects makeup off for 1985.
His horns were a little rubbery. There was a moment or two where they wiggled. And I was like, oh, that just kills the whole aesthetic of his character. Let's not do the rubbery horn thing.
But it was kind of cool though for me though. It's like how they had to pull this feat off to be able to create a being that is literally almost 9 foot tall.
He's huge.
Huge dude. And then you got this full body wrap that poor Tim Curry had to be wrapped in. Makeup, I remember I was watching the documentary. There's a piece on this. You can find it on YouTube. It took over 12 hours to get Tim Curry into makeup. It's his real
eyes, though, that are peeking through.
It's his real eyes and his real mouth. And everything else is just prosthetic. It's pretty amazing. But I believe, the whole cusp of this, I feel Ridley Scott, this was an experiment for things to come for Ridley Scott. In 1982, we had Blade Runner. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in 79, we had Alien. And so we had those two and consecutively from Ridley Scott. And then 1985, it was just like, I don't want to do Aliens anymore. And I don't want to do any kind of fantastical future worlds. What can I do? It's like if Tolkien combined with Scott, this is kind of what it would look like with Lord of the Rings combined with Ridley Scott's imagination. And this is what you get. But for me, I think it's not the acting. It's definitely not Tom Cruise. I'm not the biggest Tom Cruise fan. I'm going to have to agree with you on there, Mike. Mia Sara, that was a nice bonus. She's, in her 80s glory and her 80s prime. Love her from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, by the way. And, but for me, I think the decision to choose Tangerine Dream to score the soundtrack, that was the win for me. Now, I've heard no disrespect to Goldsmith's orchestration and composition to the film, because that is an entirely different movie if you watch it. But for me, that 80s sound, that synthy wave vibe is Tangerine Dream all day long. And I just love everything that they scored in the 80s. And there's like literally 8 movies that Tangerine Dream has scored in the 80s just alone. And this is, for me, one of the top ones, especially Loved by the Sun, the song at the end of the film when you get John Anderson, who is another European vocalist. If you don't know who that voice, you might remember a little band called Yes from back in the day, I believe. And John Anderson is the lead voice from that. So you might recognize that very high-pitched masculine voice. That would be him. It's John Anderson from Yes. But for me, overall, I do believe it's not the story for me. It is the visual aesthetic. Like Mucklebones, when she comes out of the water, just the way she looks and the green and then she's just, I love that. Just the way darkness looks and the elves. I mean, in the mind of a creative and an artist, I would love to draw some of these characters. And I think that's what appeals to me the most, is just the aesthetic of what they look like. Anyway, that's it. You're
No, I agree with you. The visuals are on point.
I could do without the bubbles, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what the bubbles.
That's 2 weeks in a row with movies with bubbles. Are we going to do like Wizard of Oz next week?
We might.
Okay,
we might do Return to Oz. We could do that because that's an 80s movie.
Oh God, please! That's literally my favorite.
Yeah,
okay, so
The Wiz. Anyway, so let's go ahead and rate Legend. We'll do it out of 1 out of 10, and you can do point decimals in between if you want. Lindsay, since you went first, what is your score for Legend?
I'm going to go with a 4.7.
Not bad. 4.7.
It's middle range.
Yeah, I get you. No, I get you. Mid-range. Mike, what is your score for
I'm going to
Legend?
go with a 6. Like you say, the visuals are what stood out. The story was so-so, you know, and like also kind of what I was getting at, but you just kind of reiterated what I was trying to get at before. It was like more of an experiment, I think.
Yeah.
Other than Aliens or Blade Runner, to try something different, to try something in the fantasy world.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, for the time, it was, I think you did a good job.
I think he did.
I can respect the artistic feats that were trying to be accomplished in that time. So definitely.
Yeah. I'm going to go a 6.8 out of 10 just because this is a film I did grow up with.
Mhm.
And I remember many times being slapped on the wrist in elementary school for trying to draw darkness. And my teacher thinking I'm a complete nut job. She's like, Joey's drawing demons again.
God, Satan.
No, it's a character. It's Tim Curry. I don't know. It looks like the devil. Anyway, so I'm going to go with a 6.8 on
gotta
my
love those
score.
Bible Belt
I know,
teachers,
right?
right?
You got to love it. You've been raised in Appalachia. You're raised in Appalachia. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, moving along. Oh, geez. Are you guys ready to talk a little bit about Suicide Squad?
Let's do it.
Before we roll the spoiler alert warning, I want to hear what you guys think about the movie Legend. If you have seen Legend, please give your score over in the sidebar on the live chat room here at popx.live. And hey, if you're watching this on the audio version, we'd love to hear from you. Tweet us at PopXcast on Twitter or on Instagram. Let us know your score for Legend, and we'll share it on the next episode of PopXcast. All right? All right.
I've
So
got
with
a
all
5
that,
out of 10.
I
for
see
John.
that John Poffenbarger,
That's
5
nice.
out of 10. Look at that. He's already shared his score.
Very good, sir.
All righty. So if you've not seen The Suicide Squad by James Gunn, beyond this point, you have been warned.
Danger. You are about to enter a PopX spoiler alert. Beyond this point, there is no return. You have been warned.
What a crazy movie this was. Oh my God, dude. There was guys' junk hanging out. There was a lot of nudity that I didn't expect to see. There was a lot of moments where my eyes like, but there was a lot of moments I was like, but it was.
I really should have honestly taken a tally of how many times my husband and I said WTF. Because it was a lot.
Yeah, because I went and saw this with a few of my guys from there's a group of guys, we all go together and we see all the films around here, especially if it's a comic book movie. So we went to see the movie. There were so many moments I was like, what the? And I could hear them over there. I was like, what? And it was just like, you didn't know what to expect. I mean, right out of the gate, the first 10 minutes of the film, you have no idea what's going on. And then all hell breaks loose. And, for me, so let's talk. Weasel was my favorite.
It was so funny because after it was like, what, a 5-minute opening scene or so?
Yeah.
And after that was over, I was like, well, that was a short movie.
I know. It was so crazy. But it opens up, you got Johnny Cash doing Folsom Prison Blues.
And, I love that open.
That was a great one. And a tally of whackers. Yes, it was a tally of whackers. Luke and oh my gosh.
Oh, Luke bringing those jokes like he
I know.
always does.
He's drier than a sandpaper. Never mind. Moving on. So we get
for the children.
We get an open shot of Michael Rooker, and he's kind of throwing this ball in this prison cell, and we're going through a lot of familiar. It's done very quickly, but a lot of familiar things are happening here from the original Suicide Squad that we got about 4 or 5 years ago, where they, we're going to implant this. You'd go off rails. We're going to explode
process
it.
Catch up. Yeah.
It was a quick catch up, but I'm glad that they didn't spend too much time there because we get it. We know. And I'm glad that was a great element that they didn't really need to go and unpack necessarily. Let's get on with the story. And that's exactly what they did. For me, it was crazy though, because I was so fixated on this Team A that I didn't even realize there was a Team B. And so when the first 5 minutes, every one of them died. I know there was only like 2 left that was living. Well, Weasel, if you include him.
Well, at the time we thought he was dead.
At the time, well, yeah, he had asphyxiated. He had drowned. But oh my gosh, just one after another. Oh my God, Javelin. Just dead, and it's just like, and then poor Michael.
It was a massacre, a bloody. Like I asked Josh, I was like, "Are you sure James Gunn directed this and not Tarantino? Because it's really feeling a little Kill Bill right now."
Yeah, well, I don't know. Have you seen Army of the Dead on Netflix, Lindsay?
No.
Okay, so James Gunn is noted for his gore.
All right.
So if you've not seen Army of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead, Day of the
I've
Dead.
seen Dawn of the Dead. Is
All
he
right.
part of that too?
Well, he directed it.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Okay.
The one from the early 2010s. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's James Gunn. And then Army of the Dead is his sequel to his original. So you think about all the brain splatters and the goo and the slime and the zombies. He's noted for that. That is what he's best at. He's just not, we've not seen it because he's got the Disney PG-13 brand. He's got to kind of,
There you go.
you can't do that. Anyway, long story short, you unleash James Gunn, give him an R rating.
There's going to be corn syrup and sand everywhere in all the parts.
Oh my gosh. It was brain splatter after brain splatter. People's junk was getting blown off. and
Gnarly.
It was insane. I would say probably for me, one of my favorite belly laugh moments out of this film, though, was when the Team B, after Team A, essentially all died, quote unquote, with the exception of 2 or 3. They go into this camp and they think that Flag is being held captive, and they just like secretly kill every one of them. And it's like,
they're like very good at it.
and
Yes.
they're really good. And they're like 50 bodies later, they walk in and Flag's just sitting there. It's like, hey, we're part of the resistance.
I love how Peacemaker and Bloodsport were keeping score, and they were like, "Oh, that was good.
That was good. That was great.
That one's better."
So, and then when they get in there, it's like, you killed everybody of the resistance. Are you serious? And I was just
like my family.
It was so funny, dude. So funny. Lindsay, what was some highlights for you before we talk about comments for you?
I absolutely loved, and I was incredibly confused by the entire President Harley marriage romantic, whatever the heck that was, scene that was completely out of place and off the wall. And I didn't really understand any of it, but I absolutely loved it at the same time. And then we started going into a little bit of like Alice in Wonderland animated birds and stuff. And I was like,
It's like in the back of her mind when she kills, it's just like flowers
yes.
instead of.
She's like, oh, that's so pretty. Yeah, and then she was just like, I'm seeing some red flags here. This girl is,
and that's after she killed him.
Yeah, she's just sitting there having a conversation with his corpse. Harley shines in every movie she's in, whether it's poorly written or beautifully written or directed poorly or well done, just like this movie was really well done. There were some moments where the storyline was kind of up and down for me, but other than that, she just shines.
She does.
Whether
Margot
she's like,
Robbie.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, but I'm going to take it with me.
It was so good.
Oh,
Margot Robbie, though, she does outshine in every film that she's in, in terms of the DC character that she plays. And it's just truly remarkable. And, but go on. Was Harley kind of one of your main highlights?
Harley was kind of my main highlights, but there was a surprising character that I didn't think I was going to attach to, and that was Polka Dot Man. I really felt connected to his character and like had emotional attachment whenever he was like, his mom did experiments on him and his siblings, and then he has like this virus thing going on where if he doesn't expel these polka dots, these acidic polka dot things,
viral,
he will literally die if he doesn't do twice a day. And he has like this soul swelling, so you kind of feel bad for him. And then he finally gets his moment to shine, and then he gets killed. So nothing that's gonna make you cry, obviously, but it's something that it was a very well developed character that wasn't a standout character that I kind of was like that was a good pull on featuring him in this misfit band.
I think for me though, one of the standout characters was definitely King Shark.
Yes,
Sylvester Stallone
Slide
voicing.
It's so good.
It's a hand. It was so funny. But I love the fact that they tried to make friends with him. The rat, I can't remember the rat queen's name, but
Ratcatcher.
Yeah. She's like, you've never had a friend? I'll be your friend. And they kind of developed this bond. He's like, I've never had a friend. He said, I've never had friend. And I always eat friend, And she's like, it's so funny.
Don't eat your friend.
But, in little what Sly's voiceovers was doing, we actually kind of grown a little attached to King Shark a little bit.
Yeah.
We kind of felt sorry for him. He's just a big lug that's kind of misunderstood. And I kind of like that. A little bit of almost like a Groot character in a way.
Yeah.
You know, it always seems like there's that one character that James Gunn picks out. This the big CGI character. In Guardians, it's Groot, and here it's King Shark. And I actually really enjoyed that. And Weasel was goofy. Yeah.
For his short moments on screen, it was just, you really stood out.
Did you hear the part did you watch the end scene credit when he got up and he was live and he was running away? He's going.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Was there a character that you wish you would have seen more of?
Oh, that's
I would actually like to have seen more of Nathan Fillion.
I would have liked
character.
I would have Captain Boomerang. I think for me,
Captain Boomerang would have been really cool.
I would have loved to see more of him. He got off way too quick. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think it was a nice balance. And the storyline between Idris Elba and John Cena, you know, those characters was definitely great. I enjoyed the dynamic there that, you know,
I loved that.
And there's a nice little plot twist there at the end where he wanted to keep all the data in the center. And I enjoyed that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was cool. And how much did you get enjoyment out of Amanda Waller getting whacked in the head? Because I celebrated a lot.
Did not
inside.
expect that, and I loved every freaking minute of it. Like, yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Somebody in James Gunn, you know, again, he's off the rails here. There is no right or wrong with James Gunn, and
just expect the unexpected in this movie of every turn.
It's so whack. It's so crazy.
I can't say that this is like the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It's not like going to be my top 10 of all time, but there are very enjoyable triumphant moments of this movie.
There is. John Cena too. Oh my gosh. It is just so funny.
Now, who was the guy that played the Thinker? What was the
Oh yeah, that's Doctor Strange.
Oh,
Doctor
Peter
Who.
Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi, thank you.
Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
Yes, Doctor Who.
Speaking of Doctor Who and Whovians, let's go down to Mike Ippolito down here. Mike, what did you think about James Gunn's Suicide Squad? You're muted, by the way. No, it's all good.
Let's try again. There
yeah. What do you think about it?
Well, this was a disaster.
It wasn't a flawed disaster.
A beautiful disaster.
I loved it. This movie was great. It was kind of like a roller coaster of emotion. You were rooting for certain people, and then when other people got knocked off, you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. You know, and it just, like you said at the beginning, you focused on Squad A, which was basically, you know, demolished, and then there comes Squad B. I didn't expect that.
I didn't either.
I thought it was just like one group, like the last one.
Yeah.
The early demise of Pete Davidson, I was kind of happy with that. That's that dude. That's a story for another show.
Oh man, won't go there.
You know, Rooker got it kind of early too.
He did.
He kind of, and it was kind of like you see, like he took out that bird at the beginning, and then the bird went after him later when he's floating in the ocean.
That was like
pretty funny.
Karma coming back.
Well, and they set him up to make him look like he was going to play a really big role in the storyline because of that big opening scene.
He was the opening character. You're right.
And then he's the one that got zapped.
No, he was the one that he ran away like a little screaming. He's like, no, get back to the zone. And
like, listen here, Mary Poppins, get back to work.
Click.
Boom. Amanda Waller, she was just completely ruthless. And then the golf club in the head, I was going, yes, that's nice.
The fact too that she's willing to hurt a kid. The fact that she's willing to hurt a kid to get what she wants, I'm like, yeah.
But that's iconic Amanda Waller. That's the reason why she's in charge of all of these ruthless felon and psychopaths, is because she can make those decisions. It doesn't mean that it's right. It just means that she can.
The chat's blowing up over here. We have got to talk about the elephant in the room. We got to talk about Milton.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The random character.
Gotta have Milton.
The bus driver had no rhyme or reason of being part of this, but yet he's rushing in to this infrastructure with the.
He's been with us for the last 3 hours.
Those are the kind of jokes that James Gunn weaves into his scripts that stand out to fans. And there's absolutely no reason why they should, but they do.
I know.
Because they have nothing really to do with the main characters at all.
Well, listen, before we give our review and we continue talking about this, Austin Burke recorded his review of this. And so we're going to go ahead and play that right now for you guys. So Team PopX, you're going to have to watch the stream to listen to this one. But here you go, all the way from Destin, Florida. This is Austin Burke, the Burkinator, with his official thoughts on the Suicide Squad.
Hello, PopXcast. Joseph, Lindsay, Mike, thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this. We're on vacation. We're hanging out, just chilling. The whole family is out by the pool and the beach, and we've had a great time. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about The Suicide Squad, a movie that I was so hyped about. Didn't know I would get to see it a little bit early. Got that chance, and I was raving about it from the second I saw it, basically until now. Guys, this movie was wild. It is James Gunn completely and utterly unleashed. And you know how I feel about the first Suicide Squad. It's a little bit of a mess. And we've talked about it on this show, right? Well, now we get to come in with a fresh set of eyes, and the studio gives him, at least what we can see on camera, just full ability to do anything and everything he wants to do. And the guy just crushes it. Every character, every actor, from the returning characters like a Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, who gets so many wonderful moments, to an Idris Elba. Bloodsport is amazing. John Cena as Peacemaker is amazing. King Shark, and all of these wonderful things that just come together to create this cohesive, wild, hard R-rated experience. And when I say unleashed, not that an R rating makes all of the difference in the world, but it makes a lot of a difference. And it made a big difference with the concept of the Suicide Squad and all of the violence and the unexpected nature. And I said this before, I said this in my review on my channel, it is so simple. Look at a movie like Mad Max. Well, they take a road trip and then they come back. It's just a big road trip movie. If you wanted to break the movie down like that, you can. But you break down the Suicide Squad, get dropped off on the island. They have to carry out a mission. But along the way, there are all these comic book elements, right? From Starro. I never imagined Starro would be such a big presence in a movie like this, too. All of these different character moments, down to Polka Dot Man. Freaking Polka Dot Man gets a moment, and it's incredible. So, all in all, if you can't tell, I love the film. I barely have any criticisms at all. And I'll give you guys my score. Actually, before I do that, I do want to mention one nitpick, and that is just a moment in the midst of the end of the first, the beginning of the second act. There's a story with Harley Quinn that I did think went on just a bit long. And again, a lot of people are going to shred the movie because of the simplicity. And if the humor doesn't hit for you, and that's a big thing too, this is not your style, your sense of humor, but it feels like Guardians. I mean, not the movie itself, very different, but the style of humor, because you're bringing this ragtag group of characters along. I think it works extremely well. I mean, it's violent. It's got a lot of curse and all this stuff. Clearly not built for families, but the humor worked for me. So all of that comes together. Before I give you guys my score, I didn't watch it alone. I watched it with my brother. Josh, you in here somewhere? Oh, you've been there the whole time. Hello?
Hey.
There he is. Josh, what did you, get over here real quick. What did you think of the Suicide Squad?
I thought the Suicide Squad did a lot of suiciding and squatting.
Did they squat?
They did squat.
They squatted. Did you enjoy it, though? That's
I
the
really
question.
did enjoy it. My favorite characters were King Shark and obviously Weasel. Weasel is the best character in any movie ever. At me in the comments if you disagree, and I'll argue with you.
When he got up and ran away, and the kind of post-credit scene at the end, he goes, it was my favorite thing. Dude, it was so funny. And so Weasel's your favorite character. What was your favorite moment? Was there an action scene? Was there a moment with a character that stood out for you?
No, I ain't gonna lie. Harley Quinn's scene where she took out all those soldiers.
Oh,
that was cool.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
With the visuals and the flowers.
Yeah. And animated birds. It's
Okay.
like she was Snow White, except really violent and deadly.
Now, before I give you my rating, Josh, what was your rating?
I would probably give this movie around, I'd say, a 90%.
90%?
Really good movie. I have no complaints.
That's high.
No complaints.
You've got two Burke ratings. He gave a 90. I'm going to go a 96%. I'm sticking true to my score the first time around. Got to watch it again with you and my wife. Madison loved it. We all loved it, guys. We are huge fans of Suicide Squad over here in Destin, Florida. But we're going to send it back to, well, multiple places technically, but Joseph in Orlando, Florida, to give you guys the rest of the spiel. But guys, hope you have a great show. Miss all of you. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll be back in person next time. Well, not in person, in Kentucky. This is convoluted. All right, bye guys.
Bye, Joe. Bye, Joe.
And.
Oh my gosh, Austin, we love you, man.
Can I point out that they have matching tank tops?
I know, isn't it great? Those
Did
two.
the mama dress them?
They're on vacation.
That's just too
It's
cute,
so
Austin. Oh my goodness.
You know what the funny thing about that whole video is? Like when his brother was there the whole time, we didn't even know. We thought it was like a blanket on the. Yeah. What in the?
He's a filming genius. That
I'm telling
boy.
you, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. But Austin, even though he's on vacation, he sent in his video. Thank you so much, Austin, for doing that for us tonight.
Yes.
And yeah.
Real quick, Starro, is that like a really big villain from the DC universe that is well known? Because I felt like I just need to bring my Pokemon ball and throw it at it.
Not really.
Honestly.
Not really. I think it was just a villain, a crazy whacked out villain that James Gunn handpicked from the DC universe because it maybe was more comical.
They're all Burke variants. That's what
it's true. We are. Yeah.
It's the truth.
We're in the TVA.
Anyway,
It's
so
good
next
stuff.
time you are in the Suicide Squad and you run into a giant starfish, bring a Pokeball.
It was crazy. Do you know it's Starro the Conqueror?
Yes.
Starro.
The Conqueror.
The Conqueror.
How did you feel about her diving into the water and not drowning in the eyeball?
I thought it was crazy and bizarre, but yet there was like little
I honestly
things.
felt like I was high at that point. I was like, there's got to be some explanation for the reason why I still see these visuals.
She went right through the daggone iris of this thing and punctured his eyeball, went right into the fluid of the eye.
And stayed in the fluid for an extremely long amount of time and no bubbles.
No bubbles. Yeah. That's Harley Quinn. I mean, only in DC could something like that happen. I have no I can't give you a logical
The only explanation I could give my husband, because my husband's a very logical thinker, and that was a really challenging movie for him to process. And I was like, it's not real life. These are comic books.
It's only a
where
comic
people
book
have
movie.
superhero powers. You're going to have to accept some of these unexplainable moments.
Right.
Should we score this real fast?
I think
almost top of the hour.
It is top of the hour. I do believe we need to go ahead and score this. Austin already gave it a 96%, a 9.6. And according to his Letterboxd and his Facebook, his YouTube channel rather, this is his favorite movie of 2021 so far.
Nice.
So I'm going to go with a 90, probably a 94% for this one. The reason I'm going to go so high is just because there was so much unexpectedness, and I think that was one of the big draws for me because I didn't know what to expect. It was totally, the storyline went in so many different directions. My brain was melting, but in all the right ways. And because it's so fresh, it was like when Deadpool came out for the first time, it was something so unexpected. This was kind of something so unexpected that nobody in the industry could foresee. So 9.4 for me.
I'm going to put it at an 8.2 or an 82%.
Nice.
I will probably increase with a couple of more rewatches and processing what I just saw the first time. Excuse me.
Whoa!
Sorry, my bad.
Wow.
Anyways, well, that was just perfect timing.
Got
on
the
that
tingles
sneeze.
on the nose,
Got the
Path.
tingles.
Got the tingles.
So, yeah, it's a good time. It's a weird time. I don't think you're going to know how to process it properly the first hour after watching it. I think you need to probably sleep on it and then decide on how you feel.
You need to
about
digest it. You need
You
to.
do. It's a lot.
It's a 20-ounce steak that needs time to digest.
It's a lot.
So Mike Ippolito down in the bottom here in Atlanta, Georgia. What is your Suicide Squad thoughts and
Go with the
score?
9.7. I really enjoyed this movie. It was, like you said, it was the expected, a lot of things you didn't expect to happen.
Yeah.
I'm a big Capaldi fan. To watch him turn into soup, that was disappointing. But, it is what it is. And on the technical side of things, it was great to see James Gunn go back with his red 8K cameras that he uses, that he did in Guardians 2. And like he says those cameras, capture his vision. And, this is when you finally let a director do their thing, unlike what other DC movies have become, where you have to put limits on things. Let the director do what they do best and just let them loose. And I think whoever made this decision was the right one, and
It's about freaking time, Warner Brothers.
Yes.
More of these.
Yeah.
So, but I love this movie. I'll definitely watch it again because there was a lot of stuff I probably missed, but I'll definitely watch it again.
The first phrase that came to my mind when I was able to fully process this movie is unbridled glory. Because you think about it, this film is just so much, there's so much going on, but at the same time, the director is unbridled, so he has a full canvas to work with. There's no limitations. The studio says, here, we'll give you any character in the DC universe you want to pick. You just cherry pick whatever you want. And he did it. And that's what we got. And it was beautiful.
Nice.
So,
and we have a cornucopia of ratings in the chat. We have a 98%,
I see
8
that.
out of 10, and a 6 out of 10. So
nice.
Overall, over 50%.
Well over the majority for sure.
Well over 50%.
Yes,
So
more of an 85% average here along all of that. But really good. If you
more than I did Black Widow, unfortunately.
I don't know. I can't agree with that or disagree with that yet. I'm still processing.
I don't know, man. I kind of have to agree with Mike here.
Yeah.
I kind of like the slapstick.
So quickly on par, below or above average for the DC Universe movies.
I think it sets a new template of its own.
Yeah.
I think it is a new trailblaze.
I think it is. I think that Warner Brothers, somebody at Warner Brothers finally either smoked a joint and let James Gunn do what he wanted to do, or something happened, because usually Warner Brothers really tightens down the ropes when it comes to these DC characters, and they want their hands in everything, and it ends up butchering the entire movie. Some reason, James Gunn just got the green light, man. And I think this might be a great learning opportunity for Warner Brothers Media to be like, okay.
I think that was about contract negotiations at the beginning when he was being heavily sought out by other studios because of that little drama back
True.
then,
Yeah, little you're fired from Disney type thing.
Yes.
Yes. But
I think if anybody will get anybody to save the DC universe would be James Gunn. I know he won't take on that reign.
Yeah.
But the Jar Jar Abrams deal, I think, was a mistake, and it should have been James Gunn.
Yes.
Him and Patty Jenkins, I think, would definitely, save this franchise.
It's definitely a nice lineup for sure.
It sure is.
But again, what do
And
I?
the Snyder cut.
It is. Well,
yeah.
Well, Zack Snyder and James Gunn. Could you imagine that duo together?
Oh, let's go.
A 6-hour spectacular.
A 6-hour finale, grand finale, 42-hour extended cut.
Well, guess what? We're not an extended cut this week, so we're going to wrap up this show tonight.
Nice. Lindsay's on point tonight. I like it. But we are actually going to wrap things up here as well. Lindsay, you go ahead and do the top part there, and I'll finish up with mine. So,
well, guys, I am Lindsay Badger. You can find me everywhere at LR Badger, all over the social webs. Make sure to follow us over on the Creative Multiverse, the creative group that we have created.
Creative group that we've created that are creatives.
Yeah, I know. Little. I just read the dang words.
Okay, I'm sorry.
For more great media content, artwork, and more, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Creative Multiverse. If you are a creative, produce content, or have any kind of talent, we would love to see it, and we would like for you to share it with us in the multiverse.
Mm-hmm. And you can connect with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, all at the username PopXcast. And I tell you, you can find us there. The username is very easy. Send us comments and suggestions via email, popxcast@gmail.com. And also for future and past shows, you can dive deep into the collective archive of PopX Glory over on our official website, popxcast.com, where every episode is archived for your viewing and listening pleasure. And I'm Joseph Burke Arts at Joseph Burke Arts all over the web. And hats off, of course, to amazing Team PopX for doing what they do. Guys, I love you guys so much. Lindsay Badger throwing it down, Mike Ippolito in Atlanta, and Austin Burke on vacation and still sending in that review. Oh my goodness. Gotta love it.
I want to get a matching tank top that has stars on it.
I kind of want to too, but I don't want to shave my chest. He shaved his chest. That looks
I'd
weird.
have to get a tan.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Never mind.
That's more Burke than I needed to see tonight.
It's like
but
the
anyway.
Burke boys around, I guess. I mean,
Well, we'll see you next time on episode 129, as we are going to do something extremely special coming up for that one. I don't know if Mike has the slide ready, but on 129, we're going to be taking a tour inside the Museum of Pop Culture. We're going to be throwing that down and checking it out. And also on the Retro Rewind coming up in 2 weeks. Well, you wanted it. It's coming. The Last Starfighter on 129. So it's going to be a great episode. So it's going to be another jam-packed time. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. But with all of that said, it's time for us to roll on up out of here and hey, get on with our geeky selves. Enjoy What If this week. I can't wait to see your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. And hit me up on the Instagrams and on the Twitters. Let me know what you guys think about it. And be sure to hashtag me, all right?
Don't forget to see us at the after party. After
party, yes. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Coming up in 1 hour. That is exactly 1 hour from now, 11 p.m. Eastern. We will be live, and the link is pinned into the chat room. If you want to come hang out with Lindsay Badger and myself on the HAPS, the Creative Multiverse stream, come hang out with us. We'll be drawing, chatting, and you can hang with us and chat with us in real time. Get to know us a little more.
Get a drink, grab a snack, go potty,
and then
come hang out with us. We'll be there for quite a while.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time on PopXcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. And stay nerdy.
From everyone at PopXcast, thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that notification bell so you know when we go live next. Drop us an email, popxcast@gmail.com. Throw us up a like on Instagram and all those other social media outlets. @PopXcast. Until next time.